What's up, guys? Welcome back to one of your hair podcasts. This is part number two of our Christmas special. We had to split in two parts because this man I think he has a rant. I don't know if he has a rant or not, or he has some thoughts on one topic that we didn't touch on. That
I wouldn't
I'm
say
Les
that.
Kuzzy, and that's my
I'm
co-host.
the humble house nigga, and
that
I
that's
don't got
good
a
too.
rant. I don't got no rant. It's
All right.
simple.
All right. So, you want to get straight into it, or you want us to go different other topics that we had?
We could start with that. We already started with it.
All right.
Just
So,
other
yesterday.
things. Battle rap should happen, but we
All right.
recorded the first part yesterday.
Yeah.
I do want to say that because I don't think there will be any backlash because
No.
niggas don't watch us, but uh, that Hitman shit. Now, my
Yeah.
initial take, I'm not taking back because I feel like it's stupid. I still feel like it's stupid. Same thing with him getting two pieced. He's stupid. But uh, at one point, I was like, "You bald ass nigga." I don't know. That was random to me. I thought about it after the joint. I was like, "Oh yeah, that was extra."
Mm.
So my bad. But other than that, Jonathan Majors. Now maybe I'm the only nigga with a brain, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm the only person that heard y'all say that he's guilty, and then y'all switched, and now he's actually guilty, and now y'all just
All right.
believe that black men can't
All
run
right.
away from violence or some shit. I don't know what the fuck is going on,
All right.
but
So I can explain. You want me to explain the charges to you that they found him guilty and which one they don't?
sure. Tory,
All
hey,
right.
Tory got sit with the same shit. I kept
Yeah.
telling people Tory still didn't shoot her. It doesn't say Tory shot her.
Well.
What he's charged with, he was going to lose anyway. So
So I don't know how many. He had four different charges that were on Jonathan Majors. Two were misdemeanors, and I think the other ones were felonies, if I'm not mistaken. But the major ones, the big ones that we were all kind of worried about, he was not found guilty about. So Jonathan Majors trial went, I think it was like a 4 day trial, five, right? It was
yeah,
Jonathan. It
it
was
was
a
quick.
five. It was a 4 day trial. It was not Jonathan Majors versus the lady. It was Jonathan Majors versus the state of New York. So technically, she has her own trial that she has to fight, similar to Jonathan Majors, her own
So that's
separate
why
case.
they came out and said that she's going to be tried. Like,
Yes, she has her
okay,
own trial. She was arrested. She has her own trial that she has to face, similar to Jonathan Majors, for the same, I think, charges or more.
okay.
So Jonathan Majors was tried. In the trial, he was. Let me look up the Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors charges. Right, charges. Four charges. Oh, and I want to say all four charges because I want all charges.
It said he got harassment
Assault, but
and assault.
I want all the four charges. That's why I wanted to read them out. So, God, but so wait, where is the? I want. Can somebody just name the charges?
No, you're gonna have to do some deep digging. I will
Okay.
say while you looking it up, when I
Mm,
first got the information, just like the rest of the public, I did believe that he was guilty. Uh,
Mm,
not because of any white stereotypes, black stereotypes, blah blah blah. Because now it's a race problem. Um, I
mm,
believed he was guilty because if you read it, like if you we have rappers, we have entertainers that go through this damn near monthly. If you
yeah,
read or hear certain stories, you hear it. Like you can point out the lie, you can point out the I don't think he did it. You can point out the maybe he did do it. This one was a little weird. Like it was weird how they got called. New York also they not playing with you. They usually take you in if there is a reason to take you in, and
yeah.
also charge you if there is a reason to charge you. What's his name? Fabio had the same problem. He had a little, I believe it was either DV or somebody tried to break in his house, something like that. But he got off quick because he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything wrong. He ain't got no trial. New York don't play like that. And LA don't play like that. That's why Tory got 10 years, and that's why I mean he probably not gonna serve no time, but that's why he got that guilty sentence. So when I first read it, it was instantly like I think he did it. I didn't want to
All
come out and say it, but I think he did it. And then
right,
everybody came out and was like, "Well, he's running away from her," and I was like, "That don't mean anything. That just means both of them toxic. That just means he getting out of there. That don't mean anything, and that don't account for the rest of the night."
all right, yeah. But I think
Hey
this
man,
the people who kind of fall. All right. So there were other two other assault charges, two serious assault charges that
just
were
two.
there were two. So there were four charges in total. All right. There were domestic assault, and there was sexual harassment. And two, somebody said it, but I really don't know. Like the full,
There's a sexual assault on top of that.
no, it's not a sexual assault. It's sexual harassment. That's the one that he was a charge with, and
How the
that
hell did
one.
he get sexual harassment out of this? See,
All right.
it's
So
so much
this.
more to the. Oh, it
uh,
also his team
Okay. This.
dropped him. His
So the
management dropped him. That's
so
why I
the
thought that he was guilty. But yeah,
the sexual harassments, the from what I read from the law book is when the remember on the video when he was running,
yeah.
they said the part that the reason that the jury came to a conviction of guilty was because he tried to push her back inside the car before he started running. So that's in the law book. That's called harassment.
He
That
could. I mean, whatever. I guess
that's
so. The
that's
law book.
how.
I guess
So okay, now let me explain. So the
that's
two
a
charges.
corny definition, but okay.
So the two charges that he was charged with were harassment and third degree assault. Now the assault, both of them, the ones that he was charged with were all misdemeanors. They were not serious crimes, the misdemeanors. So he might not get jail time.
Mm-hmm.
He might not get jail time. He might get probation, but they're all misdemeanors. So somebody who I didn't follow the whole trial, going like watching the trial, but I followed the story on the regular when all the trials were happening. And the jury didn't the trial was I think the trial was quick. The jury could not come to a verdict quick because they wanted more evidence. They wanted like clear evidence on one of the charges, like clear like definition of the charges. And so I didn't know this about in law. Like when you go in front of the jury to get a no guilty, everybody gotta be unanimous saying he's not guilty. If it's not a unanimous not guilty thing, is automatically a guilty. It goes to guilty. So from what I heard, they said I don't know how many jurors were there, but they said it was like a 60-40 split of not guilty, guilty. So they had to do like extra day deliberations, and they came with a guilty verdict for two charges and not other two charges. So the first assault charge, somebody read it from the law book. They said the reasoning that he was convicted as guilty was not of the hearing part. They said it was the part that well, somebody said it. They said the hitting part was one of the assault charges. He was not guilty. You know how they will say she had like a gash side, like a bleeding on her neck or something.
Exactly. How did she get? That's her certain injuries. Like, how did she get
Yeah.
those?
So most
Did
of
she
those
do them to
injured
herself? Like,
from
which is
the win
possible.
most of the witnesses that she was so her witnesses that they brought up that she kind of, the ex-girlfriend told the prosecutor to go with, they all said they didn't see that. He's like, yes, there was a fight. He's like, we know there was a fight because Jonathan called us and said they just, had an argument in the car and they were fighting. It's like, but we were surprised that she still came back to the club. She came to the club with his car and she was dancing. And they said there was no injury on the finger. There was no injury on the side of her neck. That's what happened. Then the person, I guess, whoever she drove with, said she was pissed drunk. She went in Jonathan Major's house when he was not there. I guess that's the period that's the way when Jonathan Majors called the police. When he first called the police, and that's when he actually got arrested because from his say he found it in the closet, sleeping on the floor. She said the same thing, that she found you know in the closet. She said I was on the closet and all I saw was I was on the floor. I don't remember anything. All I remember was getting into the house and I took some pills and I went to sleep. So, but she doesn't know how she got on the floor. Jonathan Majors called the police. The police saw her on the floor, but she had, from what the police said, they said there was no side on the side of the neck. There was no injuries. They just saw blood that was leaking from her finger. That's what I heard. I'm not saying it's true. Then the nurses that treated her said the same thing. There was the gush on the side. They said they didn't treat anything. They only treated her finger. There was no gush on the side. The driver, where the allegedly she said Jonathan Majors choked her, blah blah whatever she did, said that didn't happen. The driver said she was the aggressor. She scratched Jonathan Majors in the face. Jonathan Majors snatched his phone away from her. She took Jonathan Majors' phone and he snatched the phone. That's when the account the assault that he got charged with comes in, because in the law book it was involuntary physical assault or something. So that means they don't know what happened for him getting his phone back, but they believe the force that he took the phone kind of probably caused something, because she was holding the phone and the injuries, you know, like holding the phone. So, and she had the injury on her finger. So they say that might him in the process of him getting his phone back, that may cause her injury on the finger. That's why he was charged with assault. The harassment came when he pushed her in the car. When he was trying to push her back in the car, that's when the assault kicks in. So most people kind of predicted that after watching the the video, they thought that the harassment would kick in. They didn't know about the assault because they thought that he'll be all like not guilty on three and guilty on one on the harassment. But he was found guilty on another assault. So, but they said they're all misdemeanors. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I heard that Marvel released a statement like literally before the like an hour, like literally minutes after the verdict got in. So technically speaking, he probably knew that he was released from a while now. They just didn't want to say it.
Yeah, they just ain't publicly say it because in the event that he was not guilty,
They would
they
have
could
still
still
re-
go with what he.
they would have still not released him. I'll go lie.
You think they still would have released him?
Yeah.
Hmm. I don't know about
Because
that.
listen, the
Maybe.
bad, you know how the bad pep is like he has been like in the media for bad publicity. They're not. DC is different. DC was still went with him for a while, even though he got convicted. But Marvel is.
Yo, that is the difference between DC. They said they seen all that nasty shit Amber Heard did, and she's still in Aquaman 2.
I think that they released him. She's Aquaman 2, but she got released after Aquaman 2.
Yeah, but she should have been cut from that movie.
But they already filmed when she got convicted, though.
They ain't filmed most of that movie. It's coming out in December. That trial
Yeah,
was last
but
year.
that was last year. Don't forget, this year they could not film anything because they went on strike. So more, Aquaman 2 was
That
pushed
was
back.
that was like 5 6 months ago, bro.
Bro,
They did
Aquaman was
not
supposed.
record the majority of that movie. They still was finishing it.
Yes, they were finishing it. That's what.
She
That's
should have
what.
been cut. They could have got anybody. She should have been
Yeah,
cut.
but don't forget, from what I heard, when that trial was last year, it was they were halfway through with the movie.
So she should have been cut.
They could not,
She's
bro.
not even in the movie that much. I'm trying to tell you. When it come out and she's only in 5 minutes, I come on, bro. What are we
But
doing? She
that,
should have been
but
cut.
but but don't forget, during that trial, she also got harassed. They said she was getting harassed by the castmates because, who Mamoa came wearing like dressed like like literally Johnny Depp at set.
Out of the same shit.
So hey man,
I'd have shit
but
on her side of the bed.
so they released her. I think that the guy who acted as Flash was convicted and they never caught him. So
He was convicted of multiple crimes. He was wilding. Hey, some people don't know because his name ain't big, but he was bugging the fuck out. That's a nasty nigga. He's
but
convicted of everything, bro. Yo, he was wild. Do one Google search. It'll tell you everything about dude. He was bugging the fuck out.
yeah, so he has his sentencing hearing. Jonathan Miller's sentencing hearing is February 6th. So we will find out if he's going to jail or he's getting, probation.
Yeah. Well, prayers, love, and thoughts and prayers, love, to everybody.
Hey, at
Um,
least he got a black woman now on, with him.
you can't stand next to Megan Good. That relationship about to end too. You about to
Well,
stand next to Megan Good with this guilty charge, you nut ass nigga? No, you gotta go.
technically, she's the one who came to him, even when like everyone was moving. She like, yo, I'm standing behind. So,
Please,
man,
you gotta say that and save face. But in a couple months, when all of a sudden, oh well, it just didn't work out.
my man,
She won a
I,
Marvel
I,
role too, bro. Sorry,
I, I, she can get him over. I don't think she probably cares.
she can be the Invisible Woman or something, bro. She ain't trying to go through that shit, bro. Standing next to your nut ass.
Hmm.
Hey man, shout out to him though. Ain't nothing personal or no beef. I just think I don't think he should get assault or anything for that. But I do think there's a little bit
Okay,
more to the story
so
that
Okay, now let me explain. Now I
Because
now
it
know.
sounds corny. Like, oh, he snatched his phone
Okay,
back. Well, it's
so
property.
he was found guilty on one count of reckless assault in a third degree and a charge of harassment as a violation. He was acquitted on another assault charge and one of aggressive assault. So he was. So they said reckless assault. That's when they. So I didn't know exactly. So the reckless assault is him trying to get his goddamn phone back, and harassment is him trying to push her back in the car. So
Well, Marvel pushed him to the side like John Morant. Speaking of John Morant, yo, that nigga, his first game, he dropped 34 points and got the buzzer beater.
hmm oh yeah, before
I
we
think he might pull out a gun next week, bro. The NBA need him. The NBA need him, and I'm gonna stand by him this time. Fuck you talking about? Yeah, let him pull out his gun, dog. It's his gun. He paid for it. Fuck you doing?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
uh so okay, I'm before we get into this, not I mean, you know what, we've been talking about relationships. We made fun. We have talked about relationships almost, I think, the last few weeks.
The end of this year has been terrible.
So,
Shout
but
out to
we got,
Cardi and Offset. Shout out to Jonathan Majors and everybody. And
but
listen, it's
okay,
wild outside.
but this one is a good one. This is not like, I ain't trying to talk about the bad relationships that are happening, but uh, so we y'all know Simone Biles, the gymnast.
Mm-hmm.
She's married, right? If people don't know, she is married to a football player, Jonathan Owens. He was on the Pivot podcast this week, I think yesterday. Well, the episode came out yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of, because nobody really know how Simone Biles and him met. He was just, he was not a household name like Travis Kelsey. So they're trying to figure out how did they kind of intertwine, meet each other. Some people, because for years, the last 2 years since they finally went public, they've been saying they met each other on Instagram. Come to find out, that's a lie. They met at a dating app.
Oh shit.
They met on a dating app called Raya, because shout out to Channing Crowder, the probably the funniest. If him, I want him, Unc, and Ocho should never be in the room. I refuse to let them three talk about anything. I will refuse to let them in a room together, because that part, if they ever like do like a crossover, the pivot come to nightcap, don't let them three start talking about anything related to relationships, girls, or sex, because they're wild.
Last episode they was talking about eating ass.
Did you see the
Dog,
episode
Uncle
with
and Ocho be bugging, bro.
bro Ank and Ocho and Prime, bro? Did you see
But
what
they
this?
real, bro. They real niggas, bro.
Did you see the episode with Deion Sanders, Coach Prime? That was on
No, I
Sunday.
didn't. I didn't see. I
On
only seen like
Sunday,
10 minutes.
but on Sunday, there this I don't know. I don't know how Shannon got on this topic, but I know Shannon came with a topic saying that, I know they started with the topic of about girls not fighting. You know, she's like, that's nasty. Shannon
Oh yeah, that
and
fart conversation. Yeah, see, I came in right at the end of that conversation.
so they started that, right. So they started talking about that. Then Shannon had a story that while he was having sex and he was at the back, he was hitting from the back. A girl fought it.
Now he got pink eye. Now you got
That's
pink
not.
eye.
But imagine. So he's like, so she was fighting, and she said, so Shannon, how you say explain it. She said, "Oh, excuse me." And the funny part, Deion kind of stopped him in the middle of the story. He's like, "Wait." He's like, "How did she say? Did you say, excuse me?" And, and you know how Ocho does. Ocho wears glasses. Ocho took off his glasses and said, well, "Hold on." Bring it back. He's like, you lost me. Let me. I need to hear what you just said. So when Archer took off his glasses, Dylan Sanders did the same. He's like, you know what? You're right, Ultra. Let me take off my glasses. I want to hear this story. So she had him explain the story again. And she said, sorry, excuse me. And Shannon, his response was, oh, it doesn't matter. I normally make them shit when I do it.
Yo, old men and sports podcasts don't go together, bro. It's
So,
funny entertainment, but yo, y'all are too nasty, man. Yo, y'all need to stop telling y'all sex life. It's nasty, bro. It's
bro,
nasty, bro.
this is where it comes to
Also tried
mom.
to get him to eat toes, bro.
Oh, did somebody? I think was it on Monday? I don't know because I didn't watch the Monday episode because the Eagles lost.
Nah, this was like
Somebody,
probably 2 weeks ago or something.
no, somebody went on left a comment with how they donate money.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody donated money and said he did the experiment of putting, I don't know, was it honey something on the toes, and he sucked it on
It's
his
ice. It
wife.
was ice.
It was ice, honey, and something.
Mm-hmm.
And so the girl loved it. So he asked him, where did you get ideas? Like, oh, Uncle Ocho. It's like she laughed it. So Ocho's like, now he's like, now I need you. He's like, now we're gonna. He's like, since she loved that part, we're gonna take it a step further. He's like, get yourself a whipped cream. I'm like, oh, I turned it off right after that. When he said whipped cream, I was like, I don't want to know where he going with this. I don't want to know. But uh, so right.
You
So
got
this is
Cam
what.
and Mace. You got them dog. Old men and
So
podcasts
yeah,
and sex
like,
don't go together. Y'all need to stop.
bro.
Y'all need to
So
stop.
now I kind of, I kind of went out of
As
the
funny
topic I
as it
was
is,
going.
y'all need to relax.
I
Y'all
went out
need to
of the topic
relax.
because so now here comes. So they were talking about football because Jonathan Owens is a football player for the Green Bay, yeah, safety for the Green Bay Packers. He was undrafted and he played for, I think 5 years. If I want to say 5 years with the Texans, and now he signed with the Packers. So they were trying to talk about it, how he got to where he is now, being a starter in the NFL, right? So he was about to explain. And Shannon Crowder, who's another wild man when he on the pivot, if you he's wild. Him, I think so. He's like standing there, like Ryan Clark was about to. It's like now let's talk about Shannon, like 10 minutes into the podcast, he's like, yo. I understand he came here to talk about football, but it's like we let the first topic go, but right now I'm doing this. I'm rubbing my knees because I want to ask this question. I have one question because I think y'all all scared. It's like y'all boys are scared. I'm gonna ask him, man, how did you get some more Biles? So he asked him straight up.
So,
Funny part, the funny part, Simone Biles in the room. She's in the room on the kitchen counter, like recording from the back, from the behind the scenes, right?
mm,
So she's like recording it, and she started laughing. So the camera panned to her laughing. So he's like, okay, he's like, story. She's like, me and her met on the dating app, right? She's like, so he explaining from the background how he even got on the dating app. So he's like, he was in the year 3 in the NFL. It was around COVID year. They met and during COVID, right? He's like, so I was in Arizona, and my friend told me, he's like, so Rye is a dating app where you gotta get verified, and most people say that's the dating app most celebrities use because you gotta get verified to verify who you are, right? Like to tell, like they do a whole checklist just before you get on that app, right? So he's like, so I got on the app. He's like, I think he's like, not even. He's like, I was like, not even an hour in, her profile popped up. So he swiped,
and I'm going, yeah, of course. Seen
but
some momos.
he didn't know who Simone Biles was
All right,
from
that's
his.
disrespect. You ain't gotta say that. You can leave that out the joint.
So So he said, I swiped, we matched, and it's like, I swiped, it was like that. I didn't pay no mind. He's like, so she swiped. I guess they matched each other on the app, right? He went all by his day. I was like, okay, cool. I'll deal with this later. He went to work out. He came back from his workout, went on his Instagram. He saw the likes on his Instagram picture from Simone Biles. She just went on Instagram, started liking all his pictures.
Oh shit. Oh, she
So
wanted
he
him.
he clicked on the pictures and he saw Simone Biles and saw the followers. So he didn't know. He's like, bro. I thought it was catfish at first. He really thought it was a catfish.
This nigga knows nothing. You could tell, yo, niggas know nothing about Olympics. We know
Oh yeah,
nothing.
so he kind of explained because everyone in the room, like Ryan Clark, if you watch Ryan Clark is probably one of my favorite analysts on ESPN. Him, Shannon, and Stephen A. When they're out together, they make the funniest jokes. And Marcus Spears, they're the funniest three people. I like. That's why I watched First Take because them four, because they actually make it funny. Like they make it fun. Like if you, that's why I wish that Stephen A. stop doing this rotating and just keep them four in for the rest of like for like
No,
just
they're all strong personalities, and then trying to
yeah.
put four mics together on something like
No,
that
I not
is
like
kind of crazy.
I don't want them. He keeps rotating different people. I'm just saying he can rotate them four only. Like him, Shannon and Shot.
Oh
Like how Shannon.
don't change that.
Yeah, yeah. Like how Shannon is on Monday and Tuesday. Just keep it like that. Then Ryan Clark can be Wednesday and Thursday. Then Wednesday or Ryan Clark can jump in all 4 5 days because they already have great chemistry for years now. So that they don't mess up. They like maybe Swagoo is the one person they because I don't think freaking Michael Spears and Shannon has been on the show together on yeah like on First Take together for a while. I know Ryan Clark when Shannon first signed with First Take, Ryan Clark was the main person that they kind of used as a transition for Shannon Sharp to get used to the team. Now they're using Dan Orlovsky and who's mainly there for Mondays because Ryan Clark has a million jobs. He has a podcast, The Pivot, one number one. He has NFL Insider that him and Ocho work on. He has another. He works on Monday night for Monday Night Football. So he does a lot of jobs. Maybe that's why. But so he stopped. He was like when Jonathan Owens explained the story how he met. He was like here this face of like bro. He's like he's like it's like Jonathan. I want you. He's like so he kind of had that face of like I don't believe that you didn't know someone Baz was right. So he's like Jonathan Majors. I really he's like I want you to finish your story, keep going. But here the face is like I'll talk after you finish your story. So he explained the story. He's like no, I really didn't know who she was. He's like when she won the Olympics, I was in college. He's like I was in like sophomore year in college, and during that time, July, everything we are in training camp. So we don't have NBC, we don't have any Olympics. So I didn't know who she was. He's like, but the part that got me to know who she was is when I saw the followers, and so he explained. So he didn't. When he saw the likes, he didn't text her or anything. He left left the phone. Didn't do nothing about it.
Oh, and he sat there, left her on red and all that stuff. Oh yeah, she
No, she didn't
definitely love
text.
him now.
She
She
didn't.
love
She
him
didn't.
now.
She didn't text him. So he saw the the likes. He didn't do anything. She texts him saying, "Hey."
And she shot her
So
shot. Yo,
yeah.
Simone is a real. Hey, shout out Simone. He's a real one. He's a
So
real
she
one.
text. She
Nah,
texts him. So when
she
she
is gonna
texts
get
him,
her boo. Fuck you talking about.
so he responded, and they went. I guess they say he explained it in the day. It was a Tuesday. They went on the date on the Friday. Then they went on a date again on the weekend. At the time, it was during COVID, so they were not working that much. So they went on another date on a. That's when Ryan Clark jumped in. John Clark is like, okay, he's like, now I gotta jump in. So you telling me, you didn't know Simone Biles was right. So you telling me, so you the catch, right? He's like, so you telling me you was the catch? So he's like, yeah, I was the catch because he's like, I was the catch. I shit. He's like, I always said the man is the catch. He's like, so Ryan Clark was like, okay. He's like, so how did you not know who she was? She was winning. She was fighting. He's like, now here he comes in. He's like, this is why I didn't know who she was. He's like, because on our first date, he's like, I vividly asked her, who's her competition? And he's like, I asked her like he's like, I didn't know nothing
Yo,
about gymnastics.
they
She's like,
love all the dudes that don't put no. Hey, yo, he sound like
he's
he was misinformed. He came
yo,
in with nothing, dog.
yo,
They
he
love that nigga, dog.
bro, he
What?
said he literally asked, was like, yo, he's like, on the first date, he said, I didn't nothing know about anything about gymnastics. He's like, so he's like, I asked her who had competition, and Ryan Clark did an alley. He's like, nobody. He's like vividly. I asked her. She's like, this is what she said on the first date when he asked that question. He's like, I was like, this stays in my memory. She said myself. He's like, she said my own competition is myself. He's like, no, no, no. I'm being serious. Like, who's your competition? She's like,
Her, nigga. She ain't got no
she's like,
competition.
she's like myself. She's like, literally, for me, win or lose, it always comes down to if I make a mistake, it's not about what they did. It's always if I make a mistake, that's how I lose. He said that's kind of took me a shock. I'm like, wow, that's how good she is. Then they went in deeper into how he kind of found out how big a deal she was. Is when they went to the second date on a like I think on a like cookie date. And when they walked into the space, he's like, yo, he's like, it was on a Sunday. He's like, we walked into the space and literally people, he's like, we walked in, there were like moms, and this like, there were moms. It was moms and everybody, they were all, the kids were shaking and they were coming to me like, can you take a picture? I was like, oh, she got it like that? You got kids shaking like that?
And
So, so
he
that's how,
he is. Listen, shout out to him. That's gaslighting, but shout out to him.
yeah,
He knew exactly who she was. We
but
not
so
playing
he's,
like that. Stop
but
it.
she even said, she's like, no, she kind of vouched for him. She's like, he didn't know who I was. She's like, he really didn't know. He's like, I normally, when I meet dates, they'll ask me all about the Olympics. He's like, he literally didn't ask me
If
anything except,
she liked your pictures and you went to the page,
well,
her
he's,
page tells you that
well, yeah, her page, but
you would have
he
got
didn't believe,
informed right there.
but he didn't believe. He's like, she's like, he's like, when she liked my picture, he didn't believe he's like, literally, he's like, when he came, he's like, he came with some of his teammates were there just so that if it was a catfish, you know,
So he thought his eyes was deceiving him.
yeah, he thought his eyes were deceiving him.
Oh my
That's
god,
when the joke came in. This way, Simone Biles jumped in because Ryan Clark made a joke.
that man is
Because the
capping.
joke, so this is why Ryan Clark said it. Ryan Clark was near the end of the whole story. Ryan Clark is like, oh, so he's like, he's like, mad, he's like, so Simone Biles is lucky. And Shannon looked at him like with her face, is like, you didn't just say Simone Biles is the one lucky. He's supposed to be lucky. He's like, why you say that? He's like, because he said he didn't want Simone Biles. If she didn't shoot her shot, he would have not reached out. He would not reached out to Simone Biles. And he kind of, Simone Biles was like, yeah.
She did everything. She shot her shot. She pulled up.
So,
Hey, she did more than women ever do. She
yo,
handed herself on a silver platter, bro.
so,
Shout out to her. That's it. Hey, shout out to
so,
her,
so,
bro.
so he's like, if she didn't do that, she would have not got with Jonathan. Jonathan was like, and someone about jumped in. She's like, nah, I would have got him. He's like, well, I would have got him. He's like, nah, I know what I wanted, and that's him. And so at the end, so so Shannon kind of explained it to Cry. He's like, yo, he's like, no disrespect, Jonathan. She's like, he's like, she's like, he's like, he's a football player. She's like, Sh He's a good football player, but he's like he was never gonna be good in football if she's in gymnastics. Like that, but he didn't call it like that. She's like, she ain't never gonna be. He's like, he will never be good in football, and this little motherfucker, is good in gymnastics. Never. And she jumped in. She's like, nah, he has a chance. He's like, he's like, I talked to him after I guess because they went to his house. They did the interview after he scored a pick six for the first time. Like he has like, I think he has 2 games now having a pick or something. So it was like he's having one of his best years in his career. So he kind of explained, he's like, since I met Simone, it kind of helped him in a sense in his
So she
career.
handed herself on a silver platter, and this nigga is becoming a god in sports, and he's just going up and up.
Bro,
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 they child is going to be perfect.
bro,
I'm waiting to see
bro,
what
because
football star, gymnastics
they even
star,
asked him
whatever.
about when she, after the last Olympics, she dealt with mental health. Like she literally opted out from the last competition because she was dealing with she was dealing with mental health. So they were already started dating by then. So they asked him, he's like, how was it like knowing that your wife now at the time was your fiance, who's at the top of the game, was dealing, she got overwhelmed. Like she had to take a break from the sport that she loved for mental. It's like, to be honest, it's like it's like before I met her, I didn't know most people who went to therapy just to go to therapy. It's like I didn't know nobody like that. So she's like she kind of actually she's like literally she's more a big critic to me than I'm to most of my coaches. She's like most of my coaches would tell me what I'm doing right and wrong. It's like I remember. It's like there's one time I remember literally I was like after practice or something. I was watching film and I was like I felt proud of this play. The play, it was so proud. I was so proud of this play. She watched the play and she literally said, "Baby, I feel like you were a little bit slow on that play." I'm like, "What? You don't even know what?" It's like if it was any, it's like this one. It's like this way I kind of checked myself. It's like if it was any other girl, I would have said you don't know what you're talking about. But knowing who she is in a sports, I asked her, it's like, she's like,
She
I
could do
think you would,
17 backflips around you before you can run down the block.
yeah. So
Hey,
she's like,
stop
she's
playing.
like, she said, I think you're a little bit slow in that play. I think you were thinking too much. So he kind of stopped. He's like, you think so? He's like, yeah. He's like, no, in the previous play, you were not thinking as much, but this one, you were actually thinking too much. So he went to a sports psycho, like sports something doctor who deals with like, with athletes. And the sport doctor said you have a paralysis issue where you're analyzing the game to like you're trying to see the game in the analyst voice, like you're analyzing everything. So what it does, it makes you a little bit freeze because you're trying to analyze try to digest and analyze to the perfection.
Hmm.
It's like so he has like that. He's like your brain is working to where you're analyzing while you're on the field. You're analyzing it everything. So it makes you a little bit freeze a little bit. It's like that's why I was that slow. It's like so I started seeing him. It kind of helped him. Now that's he's like this year. That's why I'm now playing free. He's like I'm not playing as that. And now I know what I do. He's like so I talk to my therapist and we kind of work on that. So now I don't have to overthink because he's like I'm a nerd. He's like I'll go lie, I'm a nerd. So I kind of like their story. Even I went and watched one of the episode when when she was dealing with a mental thing when she released during the Olympics when she was preparing for the Olympics and dealing when she caught out. She has an episode where she kind of showed like if she introduced him to the world like yeah this is my boyfriend and her coaches and her whole family they're like yo we love him. He's like out of all her boyfriend he's the most supportive boyfriend. He's like he takes more fun in her. It's like it's more funny for him. It's like it's more fun for us seeing her happy. But he's like, we have never seen none of her boyfriend just embrace being silly. What like he's like he literally tried to do gymnastics.
He tried it. Oh shit.
Like he literally
Oh,
went
she
to the
really changed
gym,
his life. Hold up, hold up. He
bro.
feel
He
like his
went,
career is going up, and he tried to do a whole nother sport. Oh nah,
bro. He
oh
went to
god.
the gym. Like one of the episode, like when he went to the gymnastic gym and she was practicing. So they did a challenge. So she said, we're gonna do a challenge." I don't know what was the bet about. Oh no, it was, I forgot what the bet about. It was something silly, right? So they were doing a rock. You know how rock climbing. So they did a rock climbing. He was actually winning until like the last half, and she won. And he get down. He's like, yeah. He's like, so so he what he said. Oh no, the bet was, oh, he thought the bet. He's like, oh, 30 minutes of full massage, right? If I win, she's like, I'm not touching your thing. I'm not touching your big feet. He's like, you wear cleats, and I'm not trying to touch your big feet. But it was funny. But so they kind of explained. Then the coach is like, he's like, he actually tried. He's like, most boyfriends would not, like when she was in most relationships, she didn't actually come. When she came, they didn't come in because they didn't try, they didn't understand the sport. He's like, he actually now understands the sport and he tried. He's like, I even tried and they told me I can't do the basics. The
He could
coach is
do
like, yeah.
that stuff.
Because they told him they were doing like I guess the warm up, they do the jumps, twist, and they have to lean forward. So he like got out there with the other girls, and he's like, so I was like, can you? He's like, so what I'm supposed to do is jump, twist, and then face forward. He's like, I got it. He's like, that's it. He's like, I got it. He's like, all right. He's like, some. He didn't even say I got it. He said, it sound about right. So he jumped. He's like, so he was like jumping because it looks like a bouncy like platform on gymnastics. So he's like, okay. So he stopped there first. He's like, so wait. He's like, let me ask. He's like, I'm gonna ask again. So what I'm supposed to do is like jump, twist, lean forward. All right. He's like, it sound about right. So he jumped, he twisted, but he didn't land forward. He's like, "Yep." He's like, "Yep. I'll stand right here." So he literally practiced for like a whole 30 minutes trying to land that one shot, and she was just doing it in regular, like pew pew. And he's looking, he's like, "Oh, I see why you good. I'm not doing that no more." Then the part that got me laughing on the podcast near the end of the podcast, right? It was Shannon again, who I said he should not, don't let Channing and Ankh and Ocho ever. I'm asking the universe, don't let them three people I just named ever do a podcast because they're just gonna be wild. So Channing Crowder asked, he's like, yo, he's like, I want to ask, he's like, does someone does freakishly athlete things? Like when you're driving, does she just jump over to to the passenger seat just because she can? He's like, no, no, no. He's like, yeah, he's like, she does freaking athletic things, but her thing is not like jumping and flipping. She just random just does a split. She just random does a split. He's like, sometimes when I like while she's in the house, she just gonna put her leg and the leg is up here. I'm like, bro, what you doing? He's like, I felt like putting my leg up here. He's like, sometimes when I'm at like at practice and I come back to my phone, I see a text message and she just gonna send me a picture with a leg like just next to her head, like her leg is just stretched next to her head. I'm
Mm.
like, I'm like, why? She's like, cause I can.
Yeah, if you could do a split, you'll be doing it whenever you feel like it.
Then at the end, after they were leaving,
Real shit.
Shannon asked them if are they trying to have a baby, you know, because he's trying to get them to do NILs. He's like, get babies so that y'all get all the NILs. He's like, him football, you gymnastics, y'all can have the perfect babies.
They gonna have the perfect shot. They gonna have the next Randy Moss, the
Yo,
next I don't even
so
know,
she
bro.
said
Perfect
so
child.
he's explaining it, the whole thing. He's like, yeah. He's like, the first one that's not that makes the second one that's the one that makes babies. So she asked, she's like, what if uh because he was saying get like 5 kids. He's like 5 to 7 kids so that they and put them in sports, different sports. If you want your kid gymnastics, do if football, do any sport, just get all the NILs. So right, so she asked, she's like, what if the twins running your family. Like he's like, both of our family, we run. There's twins. He's like, shit, get seven twins. That's 14. And she started laughing. She started laughing. So then after the end, you could see that she's in love with him. She knows everything about him. After the podcast, when they lost after the podcast, and Ryan Clark was telling him, "Yo, you can come and train with me during the off season because he trains some safeties." And Ryan Clark he's a safety who actually was a good safety. He played with Troy Polamalu, and most people don't know people were like, because he did an interview and people asked him, he's like, why do people on the Steelers respect you? And most people say you are the reason why most NFL rules were changed. And most of the because I know someone was giving him a hard time for playing with Troy, saying why do Troy respect you, but Troy is the most respected guy? Because he's like, mainly because I did Troy's job.
Mm.
He's like, people don't know this. He's like, most people in the Steelers is like, nah, he made the rules. He's like, most of the rules that we cry about, the hitting on the defensive receivers. He's like, this motherfucker made that rule possible because he would he played wild. So he explained why he played that way. He's like, I didn't. He's like, I didn't get drafted. If y'all wanted me to play like Troy, I would have got drafted. So I played on a necessity. That's why I put my body on the line, right? So he kind
I
of
seen
explained.
that clip. I seen that clip. Yeah. I mean,
Then
it makes
he
sense though. He had to be that guy because Troy was clean,
so
and when
yeah,
Troy was wild, it was organized. Like he jumped over the line and did all.
yeah.
Troy was him though.
No,
That's my guy.
that's when he kind of explained why he even asked Troy, well, how do you know when to jump over the line or blitz? He's like, he's like, Troy was like, yo, Ryan, when I see he's like, I read the center's knuckles. I was like, nah, you know what? He's like, because I wanted to be like Troy. Like, I wanted to be like Troy, like just blitz when we didn't call for a blitz. He's like, most of the time when y'all saw Troy do plays, like y'all thought we were blitzing. He's like, no, we never called a blitz. He's like, we never called most of the blitzes that Troy did. It was never a blitz. Troy just blitzed because Troy can blitz. He's like, it was not a blitz.
Yeah, it was something he seen from back there. Ed Reed used to do that too. It was something they
So
seen
he,
from up there that was like,
so
all
he
right, I
kind of
see that.
he's like Troy explained to him. He's like, when I see, he's like, when I read the sentence knuckles. He's like, I told him shut up. I was like, yep, you can. I don't want to. He's like, when he said knuckles, I'm like, man, shut up, because he's like, I wanted to be like Troy, like I wanted to blitz when I'm not supposed to blitz, so that and leave my man wide open, so that somebody like Ryan Clark can cover him. It's like, people thought. He's like, yeah, people thought. He's like, yeah, most people they respect me because I did things. I was covering for Ryan. It's like for Troy. Even Troy knows that. Even Troy said it's like, yeah, sometimes I just went rogue and just did whatever I wanted. And I knew because Ryan got my back there. So I knew Ryan was up back there. So I knew they didn't have a chance. Because if you throw that ball right back there, your receiver is getting hit. So I was like, I did whatever I can. But the funny part that I like about Ryan Clark, he told a story when Mike Tomlin was on the podcast, and Mike Tomlin told us because he got sick or so. That's where I was going with the story, because someone brought up to his husband. He's like, "Oh, baby, you didn't talk about the sickle cell. You got sickle cell traits because Ryan Clark is sickle cells."
Mm.
Ryan Clark like, "You got sickle cell too." He's like, "Yeah, I do, but he's like, it's not as serious as yours." Yeah, I do. I know whenever I play in Denver, I have to hydrate as long as you know, for it's like super hydrate. So he kind of that way the story that when Ryan Clark found out he got sickle cells, he was playing for the Steelers, and I guess they played in Denver, and he literally almost died on the field.
Mm.
So
Like when
Ryan
James
Clark,
Harrison ran back that
yeah,
100 yard touchdown.
yeah, but that that. But he actually, they say he was literally, when he was taken to the doctor. The doctor's like, "Y'all got here in time because I don't believe." He's like, "I don't believe he could have make it if y'all stayed longer." Right? He's like, "I don't believe y'all could have made. He could have stayed if y'all waited longer. You could have not made it." So he kind of explained how he's like. So he's like, after a few weeks, he kind of explained to her. He's like, "Yeah, after a few weeks, I talked to the doctors. He's like, I made all this team. Like, he's like, I made a team of doctors went to my timeline, and every doctor that he was talking to, they told him he can play, right? Because
Mm.
he wanted to play. He's like, literally, the Steelers told him he can't play for like a weeks, so he was itching to get up back out there because he had the chance to go to the Super Bowl, right? So he assembled a team of doctors. His first option, the team doctor, he went to the second option. All the doctors told him. So he's like, the doctors are telling me this. I was like, okay, cool. What you just tell me, we can go in there with the meeting. We can go to Mike Tomlin. You just tell Mike Tomlin what you told me. So you tell me they can let me play. So he goes in Mike Tomlin's office. The doctors are speaking. He's like, then Mike Tomlin stopped him right in the middle of that meeting. He's like, if you were my, he's like, if you were my child, I'll not hear out. He's like, the crazy is like, I'm not having this conversation just because you're a player. But if you were my child, I will not having this conversation because I actually watched you almost die. He's like, you mean more to us than the game of football. He's like that. He's like, since when he said that, he's like that. He's like, it kind of took him back. He's like, okay, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Then that's why he had a short career too.
yeah,
Yeah, that situation.
but he played with some great people though. Ryan Clark played some great people. He played with Sean Taylor before Sean Taylor passed away.
Ah, rest
He
in peace, Sean, bro. Sean Taylor,
he
man.
was like he was the funny part. Well, he played with Sean Taylor. Sean Taylor, he even said it. He said Sean Taylor kind of saved his career because Sean Taylor vouched for him, and he's like training camp they were about to cut him, and because he was not playing to on his standings, and Sean Taylor came to him, he's like, bro, he's like, you like my big brother. They're about to cut you if you don't play to your standards. It's like you're on the list for you're about to get cut in a few weeks if you don't play. So he's like, I went out there playing my best game, I didn't get cut, and next thing because I he even explained there was a story that he explained that he felt like while on the interview with Jonathan Owens, he kind of explained he's like there was a rumor that he was getting cut, so he was playing with everybody. He was like literally the rumors like he got cut everything. So most people were like in his family were like, yo, they gave you asked for this opportunity and they're about to cut you everything. So he's a most of the people like forsaking God, but he read Job and he kind of say he thanked God for the opportunity and everything when he did a prayer and he went to the office and the coach was like, I want to tell you right now that rumor that's coming out that's not true. It's like if we had to make the team right now, you're gonna be on the team and you're gonna be a starter.
Mm.
It's like because you are our best right now. You are our best defender. Even I think I watched yesterday. Somehow it's crazy. Like when I was watching, like how when you watch something on YouTube, then when you go on social media, stuff started pulling up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching. I watched the PV podcast. Then magically they started recommending Ryan Clark. He played under Nick Saban. Like before Nick Saban went to Alabama, right? So when Nick Saban came to LSU, because he played at LSU Knicks, he was there when Nick Saban was hired to LSU. And he explained to him that he quit. He's like, see, his junior year, he quit. football. He was literally almost he's like, if it wasn't not the assistant coach from stopping him and telling that he has a chance to go to the NFL, he's like, I would have quit. He's like, I was literally quitting because he's like, it's like, so he's like Nick said he kind of explained the his relationship with Nick Saban. It's like he's like a turd. He's called him a turd, but he didn't. It was more in a joking way. It's like so Nick Saban came in, he came in, have the meeting, similar like how Deion Sanders told Carvalho that he's coming with his Louis bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
But his meeting, Nick Saban looked in the room and said, "I don't see football players in here." That's what he said. He's like, but he's like, rank like him is in my head is like there's 100 people. So if we're not football players, what are we? So he's like when he got there, his coaches, everybody. So he was, I guess Nick Saban was asking who who are the leaders on the team. So everybody was telling him, he's like, if you want to talk to the leaders and get the team, to the leaders, get to the other leaders, you gotta first talk to Ryan Clark because he's like the he's a hard worker. He's not a leader, but he's not like the leader, but he's the hard worker. So he talked to him. So Nick Saban made a meeting with Ryan Clark. He went to the meeting. So Ryan Clark, he said, I went to the meeting thinking it was like, I'm about to get praised. He's about to tell me, you my guy. He's like, funny part, I was his guy. But he didn't say it in a way most coaches would say it. He said, I was his guy, but he didn't say it. Right? He's like, I got into the meeting. He's like, for 30 minutes straight, he literally told me I was in shit. It's like 30 minutes straight.
Mm-hmm.
He just went at me. He's like, after the first season, they didn't make it to the championship, the national championship. So they made it to the ball game, right? They were practicing during the ball practice. And Ryan Clark called the wrong play that Nick called out a play, but because Ryan Clark was the one communicating to the defense, he called the wrong play. So he checked it to the right play. And Nick stopped. That's where he quit. Nick stopped the practice and cast Ryan out. He literally cast Ryan. He was casting out Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark said, "Oh, I got it." He's like, but in Nick's thing is like you trying to shut him up. So you went more deep, in more, right? He's like after the visa, I literally took off my pads. I was ready to walk out. Literally walk home. I was quitting. He's like the assistant coach stopped him and saying, "You have a chance to go to you know, the NFL."
And then he gets undrafted.
Don't well, he went undrafted because he kind of explained why he went undrafted. His senior year, because he stayed for his senior year. And the first few weeks, he wanted to get drafted, but he started prioritizing more stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like trying to be all American, trying to win all these awards, other than playing his game. He's like Nick Saban put him aside, and after 6 weeks, and Nick Saban said, I've never had a good play, a player in your caliber play out of character like this. He's like, I've played with good players. He's like, he's like, this is his words vividly. He's like, I've never had a good player who has played out of character like this. So I explained to him. He told me, just be yourself. He's like, don't prioritize all these awards that don't matter. He's like, if he's like, he told me, he's like, I've had great players who have went to the NFL, played for long careers. He's like, I have players who have went in the earlier rounds who didn't pan out to be great. But I have great players who went in the later rounds undrafted, who have went and played great careers and played for a long time in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Just be yourself. If you go undrafted, it's okay. A right team is gonna sign you, and they're gonna give you an opportunity, and you're gonna have a great career. He's like, that kind of stick with him. But he made a joke that said, during that first year in LSU, the reason why he was about to quit right? He's like, I quit because he cussed him out because he's like, bro, why am I getting treated? I'm the one who out of he's like he didn't cuss out everybody, but when he came to me, he was over cussing me out. Like he's like he cussed out most people, but when he came to me, he was cussing me out to the max. He's like, I quit. Then when the coach told him, "Don't you have a chance to go to the NFL?" They set up a meeting with Nick Saban, and he told him, "He's like, why?" So he kind of explained to his Nick, he's like, "Why do you like? Why am I? Why do you treat me differently? Like I just want to be treated fair. Why did you go out your way to cuss me out?" And Nick, he's like, "This is what he said." Nick, and he's like, "That's where I actually he's like getting respect for Nick." He's like, sometimes when I cuss you out, I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking to the team through you. He's like, I'm cussing you out, but technically, he's like, I can't cuss out everybody because some players on this team can't take my type the coaching. He's like, but I know you can take that type of coaching. So he's like, when I'm cussing you, I'm talking to the team through you, so that I don't lose the team. He's like, if I don't lose you, he's like, I know I can't lose you. No matter what I say, you are like literally my psychic. He's like, I know I could not lose you. So when I cuss you out, I'm talking to the sometimes I'm talking to the how is like 95% I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the team through you.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, so he's like as I told him right there, man, he's like, you should have told me that from the get-go. So I don't get feel like you just going out your way just to be disrespecting me. It's like you should have told me, yo, Ryan, today I'm gonna cuss you out. I'm gonna say, okay, cool, coach.
Mm-hmm. It's all right.
But
Mm-hmm.
all right, yeah, all right, you cuss me out. You cuss me out, yeah, it's cool. So he said, like the funny part, he said most of the coaches on that team, on the defensive, like the most defensive coach on the LSU team, they say he's like they had a joke. They say, bro, they say the coaches like the one all the coaches said the only two people that knew the defense the first year in LSU, there were only two people on that team. It was Ryan Clark and Nick Saban. He's like, most of us didn't know the difference, but the only two people that kind of knew the difference, it was Ryan Clark and Nick Saban. He's like, he's like, the coach is like, some of us, we used to like, when we see look and we made a mistake, we used to look at Ryan Clark and he will fix, he's like, no, you will fix us. He's like, you fix, make the correction where we made a mistake. But yeah, but that's what happened. Is there anything else that happened? Better rap?
The event, the URL event. Neither of us watched it though, so it doesn't matter. But Tay Rock
Oh
had
yeah,
a
yeah.
2-on-2 with Swervo.
Yeah,
Um,
they went crazy.
Prep
I think
versus
that's
T
what
Top.
I
Um,
heard. That's when Tay-Rock said that he's about to step on Easy. He's like he's gloves off. But Tay-Rock said it was gloves off since the Gitchy battle. I don't know.
oh, Easy and Tay Rock for some reason is dog. Tay Rock,
I don't,
please no more fake fights. I don't feel like it. And um, also with this audio being leaked, all of a sudden, is Fred audio still out there somewhere?
who's Fred?
Like he don't even remember. That's how memorable a Mook battle is.
Oh, I know. No, it's not out there, man. It's not out there.
And I hope not for Tay Rock's sake, because I like Tay Rock, you know, and that would
I if
in this era he would get cooked.
if the Fred audio was out there, we would have got, bro. We would have got it.
He would have
We would
to
have got
rap
it.
like his rent is due every time, and he's still probably gonna lose.
We
Most
would have
likely.
got the. Would have got it.
Hip hop is real. I listen. Shout out to y'all. They're friends of the pod because we
Oh,
like battle rap, but they like battle rap. But I am sick of Briz Rothstein being in every goddamn video. I'm sick of the Briz Rothstein. You see Mook, Briz Rothstein is coming after it. You see T Top, Briz
mhm.
Rothstein is coming after it. You see Calico, most of the time, Briz Rothstein or Verb is coming right after it. Fam, can we please let Briz pray and do what he doing, bro? Like,
Teach the kids whatever he's doing, whatever the kid he's doing to the kids. Teach them.
because that's not even an entertaining battle. It wasn't an entertaining battle when he was rapping, bro. Everybody looked at it and said, "Oh, well, cool, I guess." Like, we didn't look at that like it's gonna be an amazing battle. Yo, please stop, bro. That shit is
Mm-hmm.
dog in every single joint. Like, whatever. Um, but yeah, yeah. Shout out to them. We
So
didn't we
Easy
didn't watch
said,
that event obviously, but yeah.
Easy just announced that there was going to be tournament. There's going to be tournaments on the trenches tournament, 16 battlers tournament. Easy, I think you should stay out of battle rap for a while right now since your audio dropped.
Well, he just won. He just got a well, no, not one. He got a debatable. It's who won either way. Some people taking John, some people taking him. It is what it is. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think he can do that. He can do that as long as he's not battling. He can do that. Shoot, he trying to be a label owner at this point.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's it, man. I think that's it, right? Am I not mistaken? Yeah, I think that's it. There's nothing left we can talk about. Oh, uh, shout out to Ryan Clark. I forgot, not Ryan Clark. Ryan Garcia. He looks like him and Devin Haney are going to be the next fight for
Who?
both. Him and Devin Haney look like they're in discussion for the next fight.
Okay,
So
okay.
Ryan Garcia is back again, trying to make the biggest fights.
He got a knockout last a couple months ago.
Well, like last month,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
well, this a couple weeks ago. So
Mm,
now he's getting he uh Ryan. So him and Devin Haney looks like Devin Haney had like conversation, exchanges. The funny part, it was never like a, how people go back and forth talking shit to each other. This was actually right. Ryan Garcia didn't talk shit. He just said he wants to fight Devin Haney in 2024, and that's it. Most people were talking shit to each other. Devin Haney and Tank has been talking shit to each other for like since Devin Haney's last fight, and nothing happened. Ryan Clark was like, "Oh, I said Ryan Garcia asked the fans because
mm,
he kind of said when he kind of announced that he wants to thing, he didn't announce him as like he wants to fight him now. He said, "Oh, I want to fight Rolly, then fight Devin Haney." Because he wants to take the battle away from Rolly Romero, who's another boxer who fought Tank and lost. But now he's on 140. He has a belt that somehow he got beat up by old men and they just gave him the battle, the fight. But we all know that Rolly, you got beat up by the old man. The old man whooped your ass. I'm just letting you know. You talk shit, but we watched that fight. You got beat up by an old man, and since that fight, you haven't fought ever again. You just holding on to the belt for dear life. So Ryan Garcia wanted to fight Rolly. Then he wanted to fight Devin Haney to put both of their belts. See, like if he wins again, one he gets the belt. So put the both belts on the line, right? Devin Haney was like, "Why you want to do all that? Just fight me now." So Ryan Garcia was like, "You know what? I'm gonna ask the people." It's like, we ain't gonna do this like me. My plans was fighting Rolly, but I'm gonna ask the people. He's like, should I fight Rolly first or should I fight Devin first? So the poll said, okay, Devin Haney won from the fans. The fans is like, fight Devin first, right? It was not like a big margin, like fight Devin first, fight Rolly. It was like 53 to 50, like 47. Most people wanted him to fight Rolly first, then he gets the belt and do that like a big, like way bigger for fighting the belts, right?
mm,
So he did that. Yesterday, he went on Twitter and said he had told his team somehow he still works with Oscar De La Hoya. He's still under, well, he kind of under contract with Oscar De La Hoya for I think another year or so because he's forced to work with Oscar De La Hoya because they're suing him, right? Because he wanted to out of his contract, but Oscar De La Hoya is trying not to let him out of the contract because everyone is leaving. Golden Boy promotion. Canelo is no longer part of Golden Boy promotion. A lot of people left Golden Boy promotion. They were like the faces. So Ryan Garcia is the face of Golden Boy promotion right now. So he kind of told, he said he just advised his team, or he directed his team and said, okay, now can I make the Devin Haney fight, right? I want the Devin Haney fight. Devin Haney, you know how most boxers, when they say that he already talked to his team, some people say it's lies. Devin Haney was like, nah, he's not lying. I just got the call. Devin Haney, that video with Ryan Garcia said, tweeted out, he's like, man, I'm just gonna let tell ya, I just put it out. I just told my team I want to fight Devin Haney. I did my part. I told them to talk to Devin's team, and the boys are on your court, Devin Haney. Devin Haney went retweeted the tweet. He's like, nah. He's like, yeah, I thought I was gonna dispute this. No, he's the man of his word. He's like, I got the call. We already started. He's like, we already started the negotiations. So it looks like the fight is going to happen soon rather than later. I want to say April, like same time like how he did with Tank Davis. And
Mm.
I feel like this is gonna be a much fair fight than the Tank Davis because Ryan Garcia kind of ended because Haney wanted to fight Tank, but I think due to the fade, Ryan Garcia kind of indicated that he wanted to see the Haney and Tank fight. But he told, like, he kind of said it on Twitter. He's like, I'm gonna lie, as a boxing fan, I want to see that fight because they have Tank and Haney sparred when they were younger. When Devin Haney was like 16 or 15, and Damon and Tank was like 20 or 19 or 20. He's like a few years older than him, right? So they're sparred in the Mayweather gym. So he kind of said he wanted to see that fight in real life. That's why he wanted to fight Wally because him and Ryan Garcia and Wally fought when he was young, when he was wild. And he wanted to see how he's going to pan out if he's now disciplined with his new coach, right?
Don't
So
get cooked if you're now disciplined and you're a whole different
yeah.
person. Don't get cooked now.
Well,
Get cooked
I
on the
gonna
run
lie.
back.
He looked different in this fight. He didn't do his wild like how he did against Tank, just doing wild stuff. He didn't do it. He just one thing I didn't like about it, the whatever I'll call it the Philly roll, not the Philly shell. You know how he tried to do the shoulder roll that Mayweather do, but it was super ugly, but it was effective.
Mm.
I gonna lie, it was effective, but it was ugly. He needs to work on that. But it looked effective. Effective enough to get him a knockout. But yeah, so he said it, but he said I don't think Tank is gonna fight him on a fair one like 140 without radiation clause. And most people have said that Tank, if Tank will never fight somebody without a radiation clause who's taller than him or bigger because he's scared that they'll put like weight after. Most people don't know this in boxing. When you fight at 140, it's just the weigh-in. But when you get in that ring, you're not 140. Most of them are like one. If you fight like for David Haney, his last fight, he weighed in at 140. When he got into the ring, he was 163. He gained like 23 pounds
Ain't the weigh in like
in
2 days before?
no, it's like literally a day.
How the fuck did he gain 23 pounds in one day?
I don't know.
How the fuck?
And most people say that's not even legal. Most people were surprised that he gained that much because people were like, wait, how did you do that? But most people's like, first of all, it's not legal that he can gain that much. It's just we have never seen that big jump. We have seen like 10 pounds, 20 pounds. Well, we have seen 10 to 15 pounds. We never seen 23 pounds. So, but he
23
even did.
pounds is crazy.
But I think David Haney kind of said it that he. The other thing is he struggled to stay at 135 to cut weight to 135, and when he fought at 140, he was trying to do it as a one time thing so that he comes to the David Haney. I'm letting you know now. Don't come to 147 because that's where the dangerous people stay. You were like, oh, I want to come back. I want to come on 147 and fight Boots. See, Devin, I love you. I love you not really much, but I like how you box. The problem is you don't have power in your hands. You won by unanimous decision. You dropped Regis Progress. Now, number one, Regis Progress doesn't have power either. Regis Progress doesn't have power in his hands, so you can win by that much. But when you fight the people like Boots Ennis, Terrence Crawford, them people gonna knock you out. There's no way you can run. They have defense and power. You thought Lomachenko was something? No, these people that you trying to call out, like you say, I want to fight the boogeyman at 147. Don't fight that man. That man is dealing with contract issues right now. Well, technically he's not, but he's technically he is.
You never know. You never know until it happened, though. Everybody got plans how to get punched in the face. You never
But
know.
yeah, but I'm talking. He said he wants to come up and fight Boots, but the most people, I think his dad said we don't want the Boots fight because we know his dad was like, no, I'll never advise my son to fight Boots right now. He's still young. He's like, yeah, he can be a big name, but when it comes to Boots, he's like, we have seen Boots fight. He's like, it's going to be a difficult for us to just jump up there and go for the top guys. We gotta build ourselves up. But yeah, without further ado, man, I think that's it for the part two. I don't know if you have anything more you want to add.
Nah, we didn't see the battle, so that was the only thing. That was the only other thing that was on my mind.
Yeah. Without further
Yeah.
ado, guys,
Is this the
thank
last
you for
episode of
watching.
the year? We gonna finish
No, we
this?
have one. No, this is the second to last one.
Why?
Our last episode of the year comes next week because we're gonna release it right before New Year. And so, shout out, Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah, Merry
Uh,
Christmas,
enjoy your
bro.
enjoy your Christmas. Stay safe out there. Some of us have work after Christmas Day, so
I gotta
we
work
still
on
have to.
Christmas. I gotta work that
Hmm?
night. I gotta work the night of Christmas and the
I thought you said
well,
you're
not the
off
night
the
of
rest.
Christmas, but I'm
Then
off from one job because they're closing. But the other job,
oh
I got 2 days. I got Monday and Tuesday. So
oh I
last
got
2 days,
we
bro.
yeah. Well, without further ado, man, we'll talk to you guys later, and be out. Peace.